right now, rocking Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. You can hear the car alarms going off. That was an incredibly powerful explosion as the Iranians are continuing their ballistic missile fire against central Israel.
Hey, Trey, can you hear us? Don't know if Trey's got his ears in. That really sounded like sounded like a missile that actually hit, as opposed to one that was intercepted. There's a bit of a different sound. You hear a very loud boom overhead, but it doesn't reverberate in the way that that one does. Trey, was that a strike that actually hit the ground there?
We're not sure, John, and sorry about that. We didn't have our hearing, and that attack came very quickly with little warning. But that was probably the heaviest explosion that has hit Tel Aviv since this began. You can hear the car alarms, and right here, just off to my left shoulder, there's another interceptor round going up. And you may or may not see the interception itself, but that explosion was so heavy that it set off all of these car alarms around the area. It's unclear, John, if it did indeed hit anything. But again, this is what the Israelis have been dealing with amid this incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire. And, following the news that we were able to confirm just earlier this hour that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, was killed in the Israeli strikes earlier today, this is a significant development that will likely draw significant Iranian fire toward major population centers, more than we have seen so far. Remember, the Iranians now, their supreme leader, the man in charge of their, just pan over here, we've got more interceptors coming off and more fire coming in here. So just stay with us here, John. You see these trails, and there's another one coming off. There's a bunch of them here, so just take a little wide shot. Yeah, we got more coming off. Just put me here so I can talk here. And you're going to see behind us, we got to move. There's a lot of incoming fire right now toward Tel Aviv. And so just stay with us. We got to go. Our security. So we're going to stay live with you, but we got to move toward hard cover here. The city's getting hit very hard. Come with me.
All right, Trey, as you do that, I'm sure that you can still hear us.
I'm with you.
Do you have any idea, because we saw during the 12-day war that a number of ballistic missiles actually did land in Tel Aviv and caused a significant amount of damage. And there were also some missiles that landed in the central part of the country, hit an air base there. Do we know how many missiles have actually landed on the ground there?
We don't. We know that earlier today, dozens of missiles were fired into Israel. This barrage is quite heavy. And again, the Iranians weren't necessarily firing everything that they could earlier today. They are a country that also prepares for war and prolonged campaigns. And so part of the reason that we've moved inside, and you see for the past 2.5 years, when we need to move, our security tells us this is the time to go, and we move right away in order to get to these protected areas. But what we just saw there, and I don't want to describe too much of it, there are operational security implications we're very careful about in terms of the Israelis as they're operating, but the air defense systems that were active in the city and in the heart of Tel Aviv, it's an indication that the Iranians are firing as deep as they can get toward Israeli civilian and military targets. And so the amount of fire is the heaviest that it has been since this began with the U.S. and Israeli strikes early this morning.
Trey, that was absolutely heart-stopping as we all took that in together, and we just absolutely pray for your safety and the safety of your crew and team there. We're getting a little bit more information now. As we were talking to Jen Griffin earlier, we noted that we had not heard directly from the White House since confirmation the Supreme Leader was dead. And now apparently President Trump has spoken to NBC News and said, quote, the people that make all the decisions, most of them are gone. He confirmed to another outlet. He said on the reports of the Supreme Leader's death, we feel that that is a correct story. And that would be the first that we've heard from President Trump since we learned of the Supreme Leader's death, Trey.
Absolutely. And this is a perfect time to break some news to you that I was in the middle of typing up when this incoming ballistic missile fire began. And I'm just going to read it to you right now. Fox News has learned from a senior Israeli security official. Israel assesses that more than 40 senior Iranian security and regime figures were killed in strikes during the opening operation that Israel launched this morning with the United States against the Iranian regime. This official goes on to say this is one of the largest regime decapitation operations conducted in modern warfare history, and that Israeli intelligence managed to infiltrate the Iranian security echelon, making the strikes possible, this official explained. But again, this news just coming into us, we were able to confirm it, that a senior Israeli official telling Fox News more than 40 senior Iranian security and regime figures were killed in the opening strike this morning. And John and Sandra, as you can hear on our phones here, and we're going to stay here. Our security is giving me the nod to stay here. Tel Aviv is under a significant attack right now. And again, this news breaking that Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, has been killed. We are now reporting exclusively that 40 senior regime figures were also killed in the strikes. The Iranians are going to try to target as much of Israel as possible, and that's exactly what is happening right now.
Yeah, well, that's a big change from what we had heard earlier, that it was the Ayatollah and maybe 6 or 7 top Iranian leaders. I mean, if you took out 40, you basically decapitated the entire leadership. And what a coup for Israel that would be. As we were talking to Jane Griffin earlier, I mean, they're firing missiles now at the oil fields in Saudi Arabia. And I posited to her that this sounds like the last gasp of a regime that's crumbling. How's it being read there in Israel?
Absolutely. Look, Israeli officials, we've been talking to them throughout the day and also before this began. They understand the complicated path ahead. Regime change is very challenging. And when you look at the way that the Iranian regime is set up, this is really important to discuss. It's a tiered structure, and Iran's supreme leader, according to reports, had already designated people who would take over if he were killed in the event of a war. And so there are people already ready to step into the shoes of the supreme leader and rule with the same iron fist. That also goes for Iran's IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, responsible for launching these ballistic missiles that we are covering right now. And so when you step back and look at the idea of regime change, officials here understand that this may be the ultimate goal of both the Americans and the Israelis. But it is a challenging path ahead. This war is not going to be over quickly. This could last for days, if not weeks. And even if they are able to take out the next round of leadership that is appointed, there will still be a significant threat from the Iranian regime. And that is part of the reason that we've heard both President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu encourage the people of Iran to go and to come to the streets and to overthrow their government. And it's also the exact reason that we know the Israelis and the Americans are preparing for a prolonged campaign, understanding that this isn't going to simply be an easy thing to do. And while we're talking, John and Sandra here, I can feel my phone vibrating in my pocket. We have sources, and okay, so we can report right now that at least one impact site, a source is telling me, I don't want to give the location of that live on air, but there are impacts in Tel Aviv. This barrage was much more significant than the previous barrages.
Yeah, that obviously was incredibly significant as we all took that in together.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.